Good morning, architecture. How you guys doing today? Um, Wanted to talk to you guys today about the week of March 30th through April 3rd and what I'm expecting of you folks this week. There'll be a few more videos coming out later on in the week, but this is just an overview of like my expectations of you guys for this week. So, first of all, due to the fact that our closure has been extended at this point, I've been really to this point, I've been really trying to design for when we come back to school, we're able to hit the ground running and make our models. But the fact that the dates have changed and they may continue to change is really starting to make me think that we need to be looking at a more long-term solution for working from home. So because of that, we need to adjust our plans. Okay, so at this point, instead of working in groups, everyone's going to work on your own project moving forward. Okay, that doesn't mean that what you've done already needs to be thrown out. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be. What I want you guys to do is work with your partners right now on a couple of different things. You can update your presentation as a group first, right? I've gone through and made comments on your presentations, how you can improve upon them. And there's no reason why you and your partner can't make those updates together and make your presentation to this point as good as you possibly can. And then you're going to make a copy of that presentation so that each group member has a copy of the presentation. And as far as what you've done so far, it can be exactly the same between the two of you. And then moving forward, you're going to have individual components going on. Okay, so I'm going to produce copies of that, copy and paste them into the assignment that I've given each of you. And if that doesn't work, then you can share your new slideshow with me directly, and we can work our way through that. So this week we're going to be primarily concentrating on sketching our architectural models. Um, so this is all going to be due to me Friday by 9 o'clock in the morning. That way I can look at it during and after my office hours and get you guys some feedback on it. Um, Primarily this week, I'm going to be looking for you guys to produce a pretty detailed sketch of your floor plan, sketch of your front elevation, a sketch of your side elevation as well. Okay, and here's kind of an example of my house that I'm designing so far. Um, and we're going to really start talking about like a lot of different aspects going on throughout this project. But my footprint of my house is 12 and a half feet by 16 feet, which gives me my 200 square feet of living space inside. Um, I'm doing like a pretty simple system. I'm going to have my southern exposure on the front of the house, okay, with a large overhang so that during the summertime, the sun comes down and casts a shadow across my windows in the front. But during the wintertime, the sun can cast in and hit my windows and heat my concrete floor and help out with that. So here I'm starting to show like some details. I'm labeling some of these things, large overhang. I have some vent windows across the top here so that I can get some circulation during the summertime. I also have an air tube in the back so that the air can come through and travel out through the top vents. Um, I've also shown my floor plan. I have my door pushed off to the side, the little like semicircle table that two people could sit upon. I have my kitchen, which is a really basic system here. I have my fridge, my sink, my stove is underneath of here, so is my TV. I've got like a little love seat and chair set up here. Again, small home, not really a lot of space as far as like, you know, usable space here. That's going to be more exterior space later on. I do have a bathroom. My bathroom is actually relatively large here. I have my sink, my toilet, and my shower. And the reason why that's so big is because on top of this is also going to be a loft area. Okay, this is where the bedroom's going to be, which is going to be right in front of this window here. It's also like the largest height-wise in the building. So my queen bed can fit up here. I have a little bit of space to either side of the queen bed. Queen beds are like 60 inches wide and like 80 inches long. So basically 5 feet wide and a little less than 7 feet long. So when I look at this, I've got a little bit on either side. I have railings to protect myself from falling out later on, and we have like a ladder to come up. Also in this back corner here, I have my utility closet, which in this house, I'm going to be heating with a wood-fired boiler, which is going to heat in-slab heating. I'm going to use um, insulated concrete blocks around the exterior for my main like construction techniques here, and gonna have my large overhang roof, which is just going to be a metal roof with good insulation in it. Okay, I'm planning on this being in the Adirondacks. So I'm really looking for something that will be able to kind of cool itself during the summertime because it is relatively cool there, but will be easily heated during the winter time. Um, so the other thing that I'm going to be doing to this is adding solar power so that I have power for the place. And I'm going to install a septic tank so that I can use like regular um, toilets, and I'm going to have a well for my water. Okay, so I'm going to have like traditional plumbing for the most part, um, but I'm also going to collect rainwater as it comes off the back for some gray water stuff, and more specifically to like water gardens. Um, so that's kind of what I want you to start being able to put together and start creating some sort of a design here. Um, so what I'm really going to be looking for at the end of this week is not only your sketch, but that sketch is included in your presentation itself, right? So the design slide in your presentation, when we're looking at your presentations, here's the design slide. And here you're supposed to include your hand sketches, which is what we're working on. I also want you to explain your thoughts on your design choices. Like for instance, I'm choosing an insulated concrete block because it's going to be really good for air infiltration. It's going to be really good insulation. It's relatively cheap to be able to build like that. I'm also going to be putting a large overhang on it so that I can um, not have to worry so much about cooling it during the summertime, and so that I have good windows on my southern elevation so that during the wintertime I'm getting a lot of good sun exposure to the house to help heat the house passively. So I'm looking for that type of information here as well. I've also, like this image for instance, I scanned this image. I have a scanner at home, but I'm sure that not everybody does. As a matter of fact, probably a lot of you do not. So a lot of you are going to be taking pictures of your images with your camera. Okay, and I have a slideshow that I've created for DDE in the past, but we can utilize this information for what we're working on as well. When we start to look at this here, we want to make sure that, first of all, when we go to take a drawing, that your object lines are dark, okay, because it's going to be hard to see if they're not. You want to turn your flash on your camera on. You want to get close and focus on, in this case, it says one concept at a time, but you're going to want to focus on like the entire drawing, or like the sections of drawings that you're working on. If you're doing it kind of like I have here, where everything is on one sheet of paper, then just take a picture of the entire sheet of paper, but get close to it. Focus in on it, and try not to have too much going on around it. Okay, you really want to like crop into that specific image. When you shoot your image, make sure you're doing it from directly above. Okay, try to keep the image straight in the photo from directly above. And ultimately, you can email that image to yourself or use Google Drive to add the photos to your presentation. Make sure to crop your image to size. So also within here, I have like 2 examples. And again, these are designed for design and drawing for engineering, but you can use them for architecture as well. I have a good and a bad example here. The one on the left is a good example. I've taken the picture from directly above, so my 90-degree corners look like 90-degree corners. I've also cropped the image around the outside, so all I see is my shot itself. On the right here is a bad example where I'm shooting my image from like in front of it. So instead of my 90-degree corners looking like 90-degree corners, They all look askewed, so that's certainly something that we're trying to avoid. This is a perspective as it goes away from us. The other thing that I haven't done in this particular image is crop it so that we are avoiding like the desktop that's being put in there, okay? So I am looking for images that are more closely related to the good example over here and further away from the bad example here. So take a look at that if you need to take images of it. Um, and again, you're going to explain your thoughts and your design choices. So moving long term here, we're going to really start utilizing SketchUp to replace Revit for all of the work that we're doing at home. Next week, we're going to be working on designing our houses using SketchUp, so we can create 3D models that we can import later on. We're also going to be looking to build our models of our house at home. Okay, so this is not something that I'm expecting you to like go out and get materials for. This week we're working on sketching. Next week we're going to be working on using SketchUp and making a digital model of our micro home. The week following, we're going to start making our model. So some things that you want to start like setting aside so that you have them, you have some materials to use later on. Cereal boxes and other like cardboard, either like packages or stuff that maybe you're having shipped to your house right now, so you avoid going to the stores. All of that type of cardboard is going to be super helpful to hold on to because this is going to be what we make a lot of like our walls from, our floors, different different materials. Scrap paper could be super helpful, as you go around, especially like colored paper, so you can change some stuff. Styrofoam and other packing materials, again, as you're getting things shipped to you, you might want to start looking at those like shipping materials and think to yourself like, geez, can I use this to represent some sort of material within my model later on? Clear plastic containers, like disposable food containers, would be great for like windows and being able to produce some different aspects. And of course, there are other things that, like, as you develop your ideas, you might think to yourself, like, geez, this material would work really great to help represent our models. The models that we make at home are not going to be the same quality of model that we would have made at school with the laser engraver and the materials that we have there, but that's okay. The idea here is really to produce something that represents our ideas in 3 dimensions. The more materials you start setting aside now, the more successful you're going to be later on. You will need also some things like scissors and tape, which hopefully all of you have at home that you'll be able to utilize to help make that. Maybe some glue would be helpful as well. So again, you might want to start collecting some of those materials as we move along. So to recap, this Friday, 4/3, due at 9 a.m. Okay, so basically you have until Thursday night to work on this week. I want you to update your presentation with your partner based upon the comments that I've given you. I want each of you to make separate copies of the presentation so that you each have your own copy of the presentation at this point. You're going to start to draw individual sketches, so each of you can be drawing the same general ideas, I suppose, but like you should be going down your own paths at this point to draw sketches of your micro house, and you're going to do it, include that in the design section or the design slide on your presentation, and also on that design slide of your presentation, you're going to explain your thoughts on the designs to be completed. Okay, so again, when you're looking at this presentation, this is the slide that I'm really expecting to see filled out this week. And if you have to, you can separate it into 2 separate sections. You can put your sketches like on the first one, and then you can explain your thoughts and your design choices in like another slide if you need to make things big enough. All right, so once again, these are the things that I am looking for you to be able to complete by Friday at 9. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by email. Again, I'm available live every day from 9 to 10 a.m. And I'm checking my email quite a bit more regularly than that. So feel free to drop a question to me when you have it. So good luck this week. Make sure you're staying up on your work, not only for my class, but your other classes as well. and we'll be talking to you guys soon. All right, bye bye.